Today I spent just over 2 hours checking the mainstream media stories in relation to the Ukraine. I spent at least an hour on YouTube checking all the mainstream YouTube channels. I found story after story after story of deliberate atrocities and crimes by the Russians. There's an endless stream of these stories, and it's on radio virtually all day long. And yet there is something remarkable about this. There are 57.5 million mobile phones in the Ukraine right now. These are mobile phones that are in use. 57.5 million. Most of these will be in the pockets of the owners. And yet, remarkably, there is zero, and I mean zero, footage of any of these atrocities. This is the maternity hospital which was bombed. I'm sure you've heard about it. Now, this building, it looks like a big building, and let's say there are 50 people working there, some people visiting there, so maybe 50, 60, 70 adults. Virtually all of these adults will have mobile phones. And yet there isn't even 10 seconds of video footage of this place being bombed at the time it was being bombed. Now, the Russians have said that the building was empty, hadn't been in use. And I believe them. Because if it had been in use, somebody would have gotten some video footage of the panic inside, etc., etc. 57.5 million mobile phones. And yet we're hearing story after story, it's wall to wall, that the Russians, they're engaging in a war against the civilians deliberately. And there is zero. There literally isn't 5 seconds of video footage. You know, if you look at these mainstream media YouTube channels, you'll see the thumbnail, a war picture. You then watch the actual video itself. There's no video footage. You know, we're being told that the Russians are committing all sorts of horrors, that children are being killed, deliberately targeted. And there's no footage. None. I mean, 57, I know I'm repeating myself, but 57.5 million mobile phones. And nobody, it would appear, is recording any of this. You know, this is, quite literally, this is unbelievable. And the only rational conclusion you can draw is that everything the media are saying is lies. You know, the Guardian newspaper or the BBC, they would pay anything for a bit of human misery just to show how bad the Russians are. The likes of that maternity hospital, if there's footage of those places being bombed with civilians and all in them, you know, the Guardian newspaper, the mainstream media, they'd pay big money for those. And we would be bombarded with those images 24 hours a day, online and on our TVs. But there's nothing. You know, this is we all know the media is rotten. We all know they are liars. But this is what's happening now is at a whole new level. You know, every word they're saying about Ukraine is a lie. There isn't a single frame. There literally isn't 1 second of video footage. It would seem the entire population of Ukraine, I don't know what the exact population is, but it would seem that there's 57.5 million people have lost the capacity to put their hands in their pockets, take out their phone and point it at what's happening, because there is no footage of these atrocities. None. So, this is truly Orwellian. This is pure 22 carat Orwellian. Everything coming out of the media about this war is lies. Everything. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'll say it once again because it speaks volumes. 57.5 million mobile phones right now in Ukraine, and no video footage of any of these things they say are happening.